Hello YouTube, this is William. Welcome to another introduction. This is on the Northwind model that Pano inspired or requested and collaborated with me on probably going on 2 years now. He has been using this model an A and a B, and there was a video he put out a couple years ago about him using this model. He had one that had the A had a distal taper and the other one had a saber, like this one, the B. And so he's been using this. What he was looking for was a knife to use up in Canada. He lives up almost in the Arctic Circle in Canada, and of course their gun restriction laws and all kinds of stuff. He wanted something that was robust, that was durable, that could handle the larger game up there, and use it as self-defense if you had to. I mean, you know. So anyway, this is where we started at as far as a Northwind. He loved the belt knife, my Woodsman's belt knife, and so we kind of used that as a platform and kind of expanded it from there. After using it a little bit myself, I looked at this and I said, well, you know, in some areas that would be a fantastic belt knife for a hunter, like in the northern parts. Some who hunts bigger game like elk and moose and things like that. But for most of us, we would prefer just a camp knife with a little bit of butchering capabilities built in, but not that its primary function. And so Pano told me yesterday, just throw this in there, that he has been using this extensively. The only knife he's used in the past year or two in game prep, and I don't recall how many right offhand, but he's even field dressed grouse with this knife here. So he has a lot of knowledge, and his is being sent to him. He requested 1 in 3V with his handle scales of camo, canvas, micarta, and the orange pins and the orange liners. He liked that color scheme, so his is on his way to him, and I'm sure you'll see a video from him in the next couple of weeks or so, or 3 weeks. But as of this video, this knife is going to be available, and this is the final version. And I'll go through and explain the differences here in a moment. But basically all I did was I expanded the blade width, and I'll explain why here in a moment, okay? But this is the final version here of the Northwind, and they will come in 3/16 AEBL, or you get the option to upgrade to CPM 3V, okay? And they're all going to be pre-ordered through Great Northern Knives. That's greatnorthernknives.com. If you click on the WC logo there on their webpage, then it will take you to a pre-order button. And click on that, and you should see a listing for this knife for pre-order. Price range, Jeff was telling me that in the 3V, the high end, you're looking at about $475, including a leather 8 to 9 ounce leather vertical sheath with that. Low end, about $100 less or so for AEBL. Now, all this is contingent upon which handle material you select. So he's going to offer this in the standard micartas, the canvas micartas, the natural, the black, and the green. And he's also got the option of Pano's color scheme, which will be in the camo, micarta, and also the orange pins and orange liners, okay? So that is, and if you want something else, then, you know, talk to them there. They may be able to accommodate you. They will certainly try to, okay? So anyway, let's get back to the knife. What I did was I swept the blade up. I don't know if you can see that in the video, but this blade is swept up slightly, okay? And the reason for that is because I wanted the blade, when you're doing those cuts I wanted the blade to where your hand gets out of the way, okay? And also when you're doing your chopping up here and your kitchen prep, and let's face it, folks, we use a knife most times in the kitchen. We're doing kitchen prep on camp or wherever. So that flat part right there is a phenomenal little chef's knife for chopping up veggies. In ulu, you know, it's right there. The balance on these is right at that point. So if you're choking up on this, that's your balance point. So it doesn't feel like a large knife. It actually feels like a standard knife, okay? So the width on the blade, and I'll give you some quick specs here on this knife. Weight, knife only, is about 16 ounces. So it's not a small bushcraft knife. This is a knife. This is one of those that if you have with you on your belt or in your pack, you can pretty much do anything you want to do. It's a hand axe. It is a camp knife. It's wide enough to flip those stakes, digging tool. I mean, it's just anything that you need a tool for. This would be a candidate for it, okay? I'm not one to really say that there is a one-tool option, but if there ever was a one-tool option, this would certainly be in the conversation, okay? So let's give you some specs on this. The blade, the cutting edge, which includes the Scandi and the saber portion, is about 6.5 inches, the cutting edge. Handle on it is just at 5 inch or 4 7/8. Then you have an extended pommel here for hammering, and also a protection. So if you needed to drive it into some materials, so you got the extended pommel here, the hidden lanyard that gets that out of the way. And I'm not sure what kind of handle lanyard material they would provide there at Great Northern, but I think they use paracord. But anyway, the handle is about 4 7/8. The overall on this knife is just under 12 inches. So, I mean, it's a big knife, but it's not too big. That was the goal that I was looking for, but because I wanted to fill that gap between a camp knife, a bush knife, not a bushcraft, but a bush knife, something that's gonna bust some brush to get you in and out of those places that you see in the eastern woodlands. And a lot of times up north, you know, where Canada's at, almost or when Pano's at, almost in the Arctic Circle, to get you in and out of some of those brush areas, because those animals, when they're hit, they'll go into some really bad places. So anyway, it helps you get in and out of there. But the blade stock on this is thickness is 3/16. So it's a lot of knife for somebody who needs a lot of knife. Okay. The width on the blade is at the widest part is just under 2 inches. It's like an inch and I say 7/8, 15/16, something like that. And all of these are handmade, hand ground. So I mean, specs is going to vary slightly. So you see it in my hand, and I got large hands. It'll fill up your hand. Another thing is, I mean, up north, north wind, I mean, it's for the colder areas, the bigger game areas. It'll be just as home in the south as well, but it was kind of the hunter up north was in mind when we developed this knife or designed this knife. So the hand on it it will fill up a large or extra large hand very well. If you have small hands, you might want to talk to Great Northern about that. I don't know if they can adjust that handle thickness or not, but yeah, you might want to talk to them about that, because it is for large or extra large hands, and also for those who wear gloves and things like that in the northern climates or the colder climates. Has a little bit of a curve here, so when you're doing those feathers, and everything. It just wants to bite into the wood. You can use it as a draw knife. And I'll move the camera down here, and I'm gonna demonstrate a few things that this knife can do. And I got, my brain is just so many things. Is very versatile is what I'm getting at. I'm really excited about this knife. I love big knives because I've always said I can make a short knife out of a big knife, but I can't make a big knife out of a short knife, okay? So there is benefits to using a big knife in many, many cases or instances, okay? So a lot of people say, well, I never have a use for a large knife. Well, you don't until you do. If you're ever in an area or in a situation where you need a big knife, then you'll wish you had one of these. So anyway, let me move the camera down and kind of demonstrate the thought process behind this design. Basically, this hook here, and let me, well, let's just move the camera down. We'll shake you up a little bit. I need to get me a new camera stand. Hope you guys can see that. I'll move that out of the way. So basically, that hook, if you wanted to do feathers, you can do those real fine feathers. You guys can see that up against that hook. Also, it drops down. I still ain't got this camera position right. Take me out of it, put the knife in there. Also, it's dropped down like I wanted to, like a parang. See that tooth? It catches the wood, and so just a few taps like that, and you can split up that kindling and stuff. I'm not a real proponent of batoning, although this knife, choosing the correct wood and the correct technique, it will do batoning. Now, you have to understand there's a difference between a baton and a club. Batoning indicates a baton, and that's not part of batoning, is using a club, okay? So, just use a little common sense with it. But with that scandy portion right there and that curve, then it does feathers and wood carving. And when you're up here on this end, again, that balance is right there. So it doesn't feel like a large knife. Also, using it as a draw knife. Let's see if I can demonstrate here. I mean, for you bowyers, your survivalists out there that having to make bows and tools in the field, then this is a bowyer's dream right here. One knife that can do the draw cuts, one knife that can chop down trees. I mean, it's a hand axe. Carving spoons. I bet you could carve a spoon in a heartbeat with this thing. So, let me show you how it works in brush. I just want to show you that right quick. I could spend all day playing with this knife. I really could, but I've got to get ready. I got some family coming over. It's going to be family day at the shop, so I got to get things ready for that. Excuse me. Coffee backing up. Okay, so you got, let's get something you see. You got brush here. See it, one whack. If you had to, then you could take that hook and hook the brush, and it just slices right off. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. But anybody that's been through a lot of brush will know that many times you're just taking it and you're moving brush off to the side. You don't want to necessarily cut it. You just want to grab it and move it off to the side. So that hook right there, that hook will help you in doing that. Or if you want to cut it, then it grabs it and it just cuts it right off, like so. it doesn't slide down the blade. That part grabs it, okay, and just slices it off. If you use the lanyard as a leku, get out there and get some speed with it, then yeah, and that's like inch material. This is Yopon too, so it's not softwood, but it's not really hardwood either. It's pretty much a good representation of what the Woodsman's are like. So I hope you get the idea. A brush buster, I mean, it's got some weight to it. Tool weight matters in a lot of things. When you're trying to do it, it creates less effort the heavier your tool is. If you've ever tried to chop with a light hatchet and then go to an axe that has a little bit, wow, the sun's bright, that has a heavier head, then you notice quite a bit of difference in the tool weight as far as how it cuts. There we go. So anyway, I could play with this knife all day. And go through the aspects of it and the design intent and all this other stuff. But hopefully you can see this knife and see what it can do for you. They will come with the first run on the pre-orders. They will have Pano's logo on them. Okay, and they will come just like this. And this one is 3V, so you have the chance to upgrade to a 3V, or you can stay with the AEBL. All of them are 3/16 stock material. And you have the specs. They're available now. Go to greatnorthernknives.com, click on the little WC, and you'll see the listing there or in the pre-order page, which has an orange thing there. I don't know if they're gonna put where they're gonna put it at. But if you can't find it, then call them. Okay, those guys are nice. They're wonderful people. They'll help you right out. Talk to Sean or anybody in the store, or even if you can catch Jeff in the store. He runs around quite a bit, but every once in a while he's in the store as well. He's the owner. So anyway, Northwind. I'm gonna have to make me one of these. I had put it in my pack because I think it's a phenomenal knife. I love the fact that it's a draw knife. It's a kitchen prep knife. It is it's anything that you need a knife to do, this will do it. Even the point is in the center for drilling out bow drill divots, and I mean it goes on and on and on and on. I could spend hours talking about this knife, but you can see the potential. I'm sure you can. Anybody that knows anything about knives and has some experience with knives, and this is an experienced guy's knife. This is not a novice knife, okay? Because you will get hurt quick and bad. There, as Blackie Thomas used to say about kukris, he said there are no small injuries with a kukri. So there are no small injuries with a knife like this. So you have to be very careful with this knife. You will lose digits if you're not careful, okay? So the Northwind is one of those that you don't have to worry about much of anything if you got it with you. Okay, I'm going to insert something here about the edge geometry and the sharpening ability and all this other stuff, and go into a little bit more detail, because many people that is new to WC knives and they don't understand they look at this and they think, my God, how are you gonna sharpen that? So anyway, just real quick, all of this edge right here that you sharpen, the Scandi portion into this portion, the secondary bevel, it's all one angle. So if you ever have to sharpen it, and I'll just use a work sharp, my edges are 12 to 13 degrees, so you can't use the guides on work sharp, but you can use everything else. And just if you use the corner and just follow the edge, then it's very easy to sharpen, and then pick your blade up and just follow that. It's all the same angle, okay? You can sharpen it like two different knives and just sharpen this portion until you get that portion to the way you want it. And leave that little tooth there. You see that little facet right there? That little tooth acts as a wedge and it strengthens that tip a little bit. So to keep that and maintain that tooth, then you want to sharpen it up to that tooth, that little facet on both sides, and then come back the other direction. It's the same angle, just like you're sharpening any saber, and just follow it all the way down. And then you can just kind of brush up the edge with the ceramic rod. Anyone who has any of my multi-grind knives know how simple and easy it is to sharpen. It's actually in many ways easier to sharpen one of my knives than it is a standard saber or a full flat, because you have to find the angle on many of those. Here, I'll show you what the angle is. That's the angle. So if you just follow the Scandi, you can just pull it all the way through. See, sharpen up to that, and just pull it all the way through, same angle. So maintaining the edge, once they're gonna come razor sharp. So unless you damage the edge, hit a rock or some very dense knot, and you chip the edge or whatever, and it happens, folks, it happens. And you need to use this. I just showed you that you can use one of these to sharpen this knife, even though it's got curves and stuff, okay? You just have to use this portion, the edge of that portion right there. This portion right here. Just use the edge of it, okay? Tilt it slightly, just use the edge. Okay, ceramic rods work great. Ceramic rods, just to hone the edge, bring it back. And as with all 99% of the knives made today, my knives are finished ground after heat treat. So when they're polished, oh man, that'll hurt you right there. You can see the fingernail slicing off. They're final polish and ground after heat treat. And so a lot of times the very edge will get a little hotter than the core of the knife. So it may take you sharpening it 3 or 4 times to get back to that standard Rockwell. Before handles are set, these blades are tested with that Rockwell tester you see behind me over there, and to make sure that they achieve the Rockwell that is optimal for this blade steel, okay? So the Rockwell, the heat treat is, I'll say perfect, but it's about as perfect as you can get in an imperfect world, okay? So before handles are set, we know that the Rockwell is right fine on these knives. So it's not a problem with the heat treat or the Rockwell. So just keep sharpening it, and it will come back to that Rockwell hardness, and you start getting that edge retention and the durability and everything that WC Knives is well known for, okay? So just keep sharpening it. But after you get it to the edge that you want and you don't damage the edge, you watch what you're doing, ceramic rods, fantastic for them, okay? Also, can't hold on to it. Whitney Knives. They are coming out with the little 2.75 mini sharpening steel that Opinel discontinued. So they are coming out with the 2.75. You get them on Amazon. If you do a Google search, you may be able to get them elsewhere. All right. They also have a 5 1/4 version of these steel honing rods. Love them. I don't know how, I got them in every bag, every pack, everything that I have. And I mean, they put a fine, I won't say fine, it's a coarse, I like a coarser edge. But I mean, just, hear that? Has little ribs in it. So it'll put that little toothy edge on there that you want on your multi-use or your daily use knives. I don't know if it's shaved or not. It's a coarse edge in my hairs. Oh, you can see the hair just flying off of it, maybe. See the hair on there? If you can see that or not. My hair is pretty light. But anyway, and that's not even stropping. I don't like stropping. I'll clean the edge a little bit just to get all the particles out of it. but I don't strop in the edge. I do on my wood carving tools, but not on my heavy use, general use knives. Man, that'll put some hurt on you. All right, just wanted to insert this to make sure everybody understood the sharpening part of it. Till the next one, you guys get in the backyard, whittle on a stick. Be sure to take a chow with you to get the opportunity. Go to Great Northern Knives now and pre-order these. They're only for a limited time that you can pre-order a first run. You want to get in on the first runs because who knows, maybe valuable one day. I love each and every one of you. You guys be safe, and thank you for everything you do for WC Knives. Couldn't do this without you. As far as a business, I'd be in the garage somewhere building knives, but it wouldn't be to pay the bills. And so I thank each and every one of you. You guys are fantabulous. And we'll catch you guys again very soon.